Because if you're around people that you trust and you know you can express anything that's bothering you, any issue in your life, and you know you can count on them. You know they'll have good advice for you. You know that they'll offer you good tools that can help you overcome certain situations. That is an invaluable resource. So if we don't have our own groups that come together to support each other in good and bad times, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Personally, a lot of trouble. Surviving in difficult times. And difficult times we may find ourselves in very soon. And are you ready? And what am I talking about in saying difficult times? Now, a lot of people are unaware of what's happening in this country right now, let alone what has happened in the past. It's a difficult proposition whenever you go to the bank and you can't get your money out. That's a tough thing. What do you do if you can't get cash, if you can't pay your bills? And then how do you find inner peace and pray without just panic taking over and controlling all of your emotions? Just like these people had to experience and people are experiencing right now in the United States. And in 2008, we had a situation where we almost had a total financial meltdown, and a lot of people were spared, but a lot of people, it totally devastated them and ruined their lives for a long time. And some of them are still dealing with that fallout from just a few years ago. And did these people question God? Did you say, hey, why do you deny me the ability to feed my family? I'm trusting in this financial system, in this land of the free, home of the brave. And we say, why? Why, God? Why are you not allowing me to feed? Why are you not allowing me to take care of my family, myself, my friends? It's an interesting question. I think God would have to chuckle because He gives us the signs all around us and has given us all of the information to be aware. We just happen, for the masses, not to be paying much attention. And this happened all over the world just recently. This is not long ago. We're in Cyprus. They just took their money. It's an all-out bail-in where they took their money to support the failing banks. In China, they couldn't get their money out. They couldn't get their money out in Greece. This is Barclays, one of the biggest banks in the world. People lining up cannot get their money out. And this is what it looks like when fiat money becomes worthless. It's just confetti in the streets, just swept up as trash. That's a hard thing to think of when you fill in your pocket and you go, wow, this $20, I used to could buy a couple of things in the grocery store. Now I can buy a carton of eggs and milk. And as inflation continues to run out of control, it goes up and down. If you ever look back and study these things, you'll have spikes of inflation and it goes back down. Spikes higher, goes back down. Spikes higher, and it runs into massive hyperinflation where money just turns into confetti. This is an old lady. She goes to the bank because she wants a loaf of bread, and it takes a whole wheelbarrow of cash to get a loaf of bread. Recent history proves that these people, these banks, these government entities, they cannot be trusted. And most people still are not prepared, even though it's right in front of our face all the time. They don't know what to do. They panic, they freak out. And we should be ready for any situation. We should surround ourselves with people that are prepared for anything, like a snowstorm, like a electrical outage. It would be so easy, and the power companies have warned us for a long time, just a solar flare could knock out our entire power structure for a long time. What do you do? How do you get around? If we lost power for a couple of weeks in this country, well, gas pumps, they don't work. What are you going to do when that tank is empty and you can't fill it up? How are you going to feed yourself, your family? How are you going to ensure that you survive? And for me, that is part of why we started our organization here, is to bring people together, to have trusted self-reliance in the worst case scenarios and in the best case scenarios, and when life is wonderful. We have trusted people. So if you got a flat on the side of the road, you can pick up the phone and call somebody. Hey man, I'm in a bind. Can you come help me? That's a lot of what churches do too. And I think it's a very valuable resource to have very trusted people that you can actually communicate with. And we got to ensure that we have healthy food and clean water abundance. How do you do that? How do you have an abundance of clean water and healthy, clean food? Most churches don't offer that. That's something that we do here. And most people don't have the resources and manpower and time to be able to do that on their own. And how do you have financial self-defense? What happens if your cash goes dry? You can't get it. Or it costs so much you got to have a wheelbarrow to get bread. We're seeing these things in the United States happen right now. So how do you have financial self-defense? Who inside of your group can you work with to figure these things out? How do you ensure physical self-defense? Because we can look all around the country right now, from Portland, Chicago, Miami, LA, San Francisco, New York. Who wants to go to the south side of Chicago? Nobody. These are dangerous places. And for us, you just go to Shreveport, Louisiana. It's horrible. How do you defend yourself? How does a single mom with kids in the house protect herself from another hungry person trying to break into her home? Do you have the right weapons? Do you know how to use them? If you can't get to your firearm in time, how do you physically defend yourself? Those are things that we promote and that we do here. We're working on gathering people to come every Wednesday at 6 o'clock to learn self-defense with us. It is a fantastic tool because you never know when you're going to need it. And hopefully you never have to. But what are those times that you need it? You need emotional stability. You need mental stability. You need physical preparedness. And you need spiritual self-defense. It takes a big circle to make sure that you are whole. And you got to work on all of them. And it's really with the whole notion of what is an intentional community. There are a whole lot of different forms to these things that we can prepare ourselves, like just on a regular old street where people have little small block parties, street parties. They come together in their own belief system to commune and talk and figure things out with each other. There are as many different intentional communities and gatherings as there are people. And there are groups that gather for spiritual support, financial ideas, to worship God, to grow food, to commune with nature, and really to do everything. I love these kind of groups. We do a lot of this here, sitting out in the evenings at a bonfire. Because if you're around people that you trust and you know you can express anything that's bothering you, any issue in your life, and you know you can count on them. You know they'll have good advice for you. You know that they'll offer you good tools that can help you overcome certain situations. That is an invaluable resource, and it's going to become and has become more critical for our survival, because it's no secret, it's no joke that the whole structure of this country is collapsing. It's all around us. It's everywhere. So if we don't have our own groups that come together to support each other in good and bad times, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Personally, a lot of trouble if we don't have trusted friends that we can rely on. This is one of my favorites. This is a neighborhood where they turned their front yards and their backyards into gardens. And so this neighborhood, they all share their food together. It is a fantastic idea. They get together, and I can't recall the name of this particular group, but they share their food, they help each other garden, and they all get together and they worship in their own way. And I just think that is phenomenal. It gives me hope that mankind is going to survive and thrive, and illustrates that we don't need these massive structures of controls, of government intervention, of massive corporations that give us the false illusion in a grocery store that we have all these varieties to choose from when just a few companies own everything. And we all know that most of it is complete poison. I mean, all we have to do is look at our own bodies around the country. We're all destroying our own temple, the temple that we have, which is our bodies, destroying it with junk. How great is this? Like to have permaculture in your group, in your church, in your gatherings, like where you're actually helping each other, provide security. Who cares if prices go out of control? You have your own food. You have a place you can go to get whatever you need. And it has grown in a way that God had intended it to grow, not just filled with nasty chemicals and pesticides that causes cancer and all other sorts of problems. And to touch on some of the things that we offer here, and we encourage you to come out if you're in the local area. We have a very, typically it's a small, intimate group, and then periodically we have, I'd say once a month, a pretty large gathering, and it's continuing to grow, and it's growing because we promote food security. Nobody should be hungry. Nobody should be worrying about grocery bills. Whenever we have a place like this, a sanctuary like this, where we can commune in nature, we can come together and help each other grow food. We have the facilities here, and we want people to be able to utilize them and commune in nature and fellowship with each other and grow together. To come out and enjoy the beef. We're taking a cow as soon as the processor is able to take it to have meat for our members here at cost. It's way cheaper than buying organic, grass-fed beef at the store. Like, it's a fraction of the cost. A few dollars a pound. Like, it's practically nothing. I think it's $4 a pound for healthy, vibrant, good food that you can come out and love on before it becomes a part of you. And of course, we love sheep. All the kids love sheep. Everybody loves sheep. We just had a bunch of kids here today. Can we go see the sheep? Well, yeah, you can see the sheep. They help us cut grass, and then they give us an abundance of food because a lot of people like the meat. They have, of course, turkeys and the little baby, hey little Louie. And one of the great things about this used to be a thriving farm before what has happened in this country over the past 3 years. And we got into a really spiritual atmosphere here and in this church that we turned this whole facility into this sanctuary, where now we are offering to anybody in the local area that wants to come out and grow their own food in our first-class facilities in aquaponics for free. Take it, come out here, grow it, use it. It's there to be used by us locally. Come, enjoy it. And of course, water catchment. What happens if we do have some sort of solar flare that knocks out our power? What happens if we have a terrorist attack? What happens if we have riots that are happening all over the country all the time and all over the world where they destroy a power facility? Well, you can't get water. Well, we have plenty of water. We're not going to let anybody go thirsty around here. And of course you need self-defense, because what happens if you have nefarious people coming around? Well, that's just me goofing off, kicking way up in the air. You got to know how to kick somebody in the face. You got to. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if somebody's coming to attack you? Well, you're not going to telegraph it. You're just going to kick them in the face, because you have to protect your family, your loved ones. And if somebody is going to try to cause you harm, you don't want to really harm them back. You just want to make them go away. And without the security of a community, we are stuck with these false people who are pretending to be God. And this is a picture of the Federal Reserve. And it's not federal, nor is it a reserve. It's private. And they control all of our money, all of our currency. And they are quickly pushing us to a digital currency, which means, we don't like what you just said, so we're not going to allow you to purchase this today. Oh, we're going to connect your digital currency with your insurance. Oh, you want that pizza? No, you're not going to do that. Oh, you want to go get donuts? Nope, no donuts for you. That's happening. That's happening right now. All you got to do is a tiny bit of research to discover your life is being changed. Who thought 3 years ago that we would have been in a global lockdown? Everybody would have said you were crazy. That could never happen here. That can never happen globally, worldwide. So what makes anybody think that these plans that they're telling us to our face that they're doing, and all of a sudden banks collapsing, what do you think is going to replace that? Who's going to show up as the hero and force us into another false dichotomy of this is what we have to do? Well, as this brave guy explains it, and who I find absolutely fascinating, I thank him enormously. If you care about knowing where your money and how your money is created, you may want to pay attention. Or you can just go watch some ball, watch mainstream news, play video games, and you can be an ostrich and stick your head in the sand. Or you can be like G. Edward Griffin and do your own homework and know and understand what's happening, so you can better prepare yourself, better prepare your community, better commune with nature, better be in tune with yourself so you can be in tune with your friends and family and loved ones, and better reach out and connect to God. And if you don't know this book, I highly recommend it. You work to provide for your safety. That allows you to be comfortable. That allows you the opportunity to have days like this where we come out here on a beautiful day with our group here, and it gives us the ability to do things in a level of comfort and safety. But how secure is that safety? How safe is our comfort? And can we commune with ourselves and our friends and with God in very stressful situations? I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess that most people cannot. They panic, they freak out. And then what are you going to do when you're surrounded with freaked out people? I mean, that day is coming. And I'm not saying that there's an Armageddon or it's going to be some madness. I don't know, but it's obvious things are happening in a way that is not going to be beneficial to most people. So what is currency? What is it? We're going to discover that. And you can find that out in reading that book that I just showed you. And what is the one asset that God gave us that these people are stealing? They are stealing our time. We're exchanging our time for currency. The currency, our energy, and we are forced to send it back. Send it back to fund things that we don't want to fund. We don't want to fund war, death, and destruction. We don't want to fund the ignorance of our children, where they don't learn emotional stability, where they don't learn how to take care of finances, where they don't learn how to live on their own after high school. We want something else, but yet we're forced to be stole from. That's why communities and churches are so invaluable to the human condition. Like, this is just worthless. These currencies are backed by nothing. They're just printed paper. A lot of people think that they're backed by some sort of commodity like gold or silver. Well, that's not true. They're backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, which means absolutely nothing. It is just our perception. It is our perception. We believe that because I got a $20 bill, I can go buy a gallon of milk, and they're going to take it. Well, we're already seeing what happens in hyperinflation around the world, not just here. That money's going to be worthless. And this has been currency for all known human history. And at least right now, silver is still reasonable compared to fiat money. And I highly recommend everybody have just a little bit of gold and silver, especially silver. You never know when you might need it. And in stressful situations, like we're on the verge of now, how do you thrive in comfort, safety, love, emotional and spiritual stability, and have solid friends you can trust? How do you do that? Well, I mean, you can go to any number of churches, which I highly recommend. I have some friends that did get stuck on the side of the road, and they belonged to some Baptist church, I forget where, in Shreveport. And they were so happy that they were able to call that group of friends. They were able to call their pastor and say, hey, is there anybody that can come help me? I'm on the side of the road. Like, that is an enormous benefit of belonging to an organization like that. So not only are you getting your spiritual fulfillment, you're also getting outside help. Like if their house burns down, people get together, gives them clothes, they give them food. Those are great things. Except in times of massive riots, massive hyperinflation. What are you going to do when there's a food shortage or no electricity? These people are going to be wanting something else. They're going to wish that they had some kind of field and an orchard and cows and sheep. They're going to want some place where they could have grown food and prepared. Instead, when their pantries run dry, they're going to be in trouble. It's not going to be pleasant if that day comes. Know how you have real people at your back. Like, who do you trust? And all of these groups and plans must be in action before any crisis ever takes place, because you can't wait until the last minute and go, oh, please be my friend. Please, the world's coming to an end. Oh, Kevin, I heard you guys at the Amidst of Texas have all this food. Oh, we're going to come and flood you. It's too late then. It's too late then. It's just too late then. So I recommend you come out now. So no matter in good or bad times, here at least, you can be in a very safe physical, emotional, and spiritual space where all things are possible, because we, unfortunately, for the rest of the world, but fortunate enough for us, if there are riots in Shreveport, power goes out, well, I don't need power to play tennis. We don't have any neighbors. You can't see us from the road. We can come out here and play, sit. We can practice martial arts, do yoga, play ping pong. I don't need electricity to have a good time and commune. Nobody else does either. And we have everything that we need and everything that you need. And that's why we encourage other communities to be established like this. And the underlying backup plan for your church organization: God, guns, and ammo, and gold, baby. You know, that sounds crazy. Well, those boys down in the South, guns and ammo, how can you be saying that in a church? Well, I'll tell you, you got to protect yourself. As we know, there are good and evil people in the world. And we don't want evil people coming to kill our kids, rape our wife, or do anything else that is bad. So you got to be able to stop them. And you got to be able to live comfortably and commune with each other and with because if we are in tune with ourselves and we're working on ourselves, just like all the topics in all of our videos that we constantly go over and work on ourselves, our inner child, how to be better so that we can reach out that energy and spread positive goodness, no matter if it's good or bad times, so we can commune with nature and with God. And we got to have alternative ways to trade, whether it's gold, whether it's a chicken, whether it's, hey, you can come over here and get some greens if you're going to help us do X, Y, Z. And we can all work together and be a community family like I believe the world was meant to be. Not separated where all we live in apartments or neighborhoods where we just don't even know our neighbors. That's not how life is meant to be. So if you're in this area, come see us every Sunday at 1:30. The first Sunday of every month, we have an event day. Every first Sunday of every month is different. The first Sunday of this next month is pruning day. You can come out here in a 400 tree orchard, help us prune, and then you can reap what you sow. You can come out here and get, at harvest time, all the bags that you can muster, and we work as a team. We believe in giving people hands up and not hands out. So thank you for joining us, and everybody take care.